live and direct, back again. Episode number 5, featuring my man,
yes sir,
Keem Leamour. You know, genuine scholar talk. This brother right here, when we met, it was at the studio, and that's how I'm gonna start this one off right here. So, before we even get into all the music, all the scholars in the world, appreciate you back. Support. Appreciate all the love. Greatly and highly appreciated. So, first we're going to start off with, I want the people to get to know you as far as who is the man behind the music. Let's start off with the childhood. Where were you born at? Schooling, upbringing. Tell us a little bit about you, man. Early ages.
from Boston. Always, no matter what, was in Roxbury. My mother was born in Roxbury. Grandparents born in Roxbury. Lived in Roxbury. Went to school in Roxbury.
Oh, you a Roxbury, for real.
I've been everywhere.
You a real Roxbury.
Yeah. I've been in a lot of places.
Shout out to Berry, man.
Yeah. But big family. 5 siblings. And yeah, bro. Just remember growing up with a lot of personalities, a lot of cousins.
Which number are you?
I'm the middle.
Okay.
The middle, yeah. The little, coincidentally, the only child that got some color to his skin. Everybody else light skin. But like, I thought that was like it always felt kind of weird growing up, but I played with it because it made you like different. And I was the different brother. Like, my oldest brother is a visual artist, you know, the draw. My oldest sister she could sing. She's capable of the same thing I am.
Right.
My youngest brother, football player, very warrior-like spirit. My youngest sister, all of us, me and my sisters, all have the same capabilities.
Okay.
But like, I've always been the kid that could do like whatever. Like, there's not a single piece of thing or technology in this room I can't take apart and put back together. Just for no reason. That's the type of shit I would do as a kid.
You into the technology shit?
Yeah, well, not really. Like, I don't know.
You just like take things apart.
Yeah,
put them back
I'm a basic shit, but like shit nobody cared to do.
Real technical.
That's the type of nigga I was, yeah.
That's cool. So let's talk a little bit about, you know what I'm saying, with 5 siblings.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that growing up. Like, what was that like in the household, especially at the, you know what I'm saying, the young ages?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in the house with 4 of them. The 5th one came from my older siblings. They have a different father, and he has a son. So like, that's my youngest brother. But like, growing up in the house with my immediate 4 siblings, it was sweet chaos, you could say. You know, it is like just being from the hood, situations like everybody else having, a bunch of people to make the best out of it. It was fun. Like, I mean, it was a struggle, but there's just a way to make the struggle fun.
There was some crazy stories about, like, you know what I'm saying, growing up, right? With 5 siblings, there gotta be some crazy shit happening. A lot of different fights, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the gap? What's the gaps, you know what I'm saying, like, between the ages?
My oldest brother is 5 years older than me. My sister 4. My youngest brother 2 years younger than me. My youngest sister 5 years younger than me. Yeah. It was like between the oldest, middle, and last, it's a 5, 10, 15 year gap.
Right.
It's kind of weird. My little sister came like later on, like probably when I was I was 10 years old. So it was like really the 4 of us most of the time, to my knowledge, and she was like new for me.
Right.
It was like put the house in a whole new dynamic, but it was always cool growing up. Me and my younger brother's like more like my twin almost. Like, I only remember him being there and him being the closest to my age, so it wasn't like really a difference between the shit I could do, he could do.
Okay.
We just always did it together, and that basically explains our relationship. But yeah, my mom, I obviously grew up in a single parent household.
Cool, just your mother?
Yeah. Yeah, like I knew my dad. I was cool with my dad when I was a kid, but I was just, loving my mother or whatever. Close to my mother.
Was they like together at any point, or did they just never were together?
When I was younger, yeah, like up until like when I was like a child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never got married though.
No.
Okay.
Never had that luxury, you could say.
Okay.
But it was. I don't look at it really hard. That's most people's stories, and something I love with.
So she was managing all 5 of you?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Especially with the youngest one that much younger.
Yeah. And
that's wild.
Yeah, she was just like my mother too. Just light skin.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Damn.
We always had like unique family values. Same values that every family has, but like because there's so much of us, there's a lot of energy to be shared. So something that some kids may be missing in the house because they're just the only child, or there's only 2 or 3 kids. Where you got families where you're used to having 5. Because my grandfather had 13 siblings. Like that's normal in my family. 5 ain't shit. So like,
right.
To have that many people around to always just be there, the simplicity of that is dope. And yeah, like I just remember always being around my family. I grew up actually when I moved from my dad's house, I moved with my grandparents, and basically it was my mother and them raising us, and that was cool. A big white house, all these kids. I lived 3 of my cousins, so like it was always people in the house in and out. My grandmother ran a business, or she was a daycare provider. So yeah, man, it's always family.
Alright, so very family oriented. First and foremost, family first. Respect. What was it like when the teenagers comes around and you start you hit high school, and now the high school years come into play? Like what was that transition? You know what I'm saying? Especially with the certain gaps. Like was it easy for you because you already had older siblings that been there, done that, or you know what I'm saying, because you had different capabilities, you a different era, you had to go through obviously different shit. Trends is different. Trends change all the time. What was that like?
Middle school was personally crazy for me. That's why I gotta look at the world at middle school. I feel like I grew up somewhat sheltered from other kids in a way. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. I was like kids, but I wasn't like kids.
Okay.
And having that Christian value kind of like molded you a certain way when you move throughout the world.
Especially Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
I've heard about Jehovah's Witness. You know, like the door to door.
Yeah, it's work.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, it's a nice organization.
Heavy evangel work.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, I get it. I get it.
When I got to middle school, I started going less, but that's when like the world became bigger, and I started to see real like that. I wasn't a teenager at the time, obviously, when I first got to middle school, but seeing like my first experience of teenagers and just that energy. And I didn't go into a regular high school. I went to a pilot. It was like 4 high schools in one.
Right.
Fucking kids.
Pilots.
And everything that I was taught to stay away from, I indulged in. And I wasn't the kid that overindulged or whatever, but it was like a new experience. Some people can see that it was a new experience for me, because they can see like, this is just a nice kid that comes from like, a particular type of home, but at the same way he's able to fit in, because he's just unique or whatever. I wasn't like I used to be like a nerdy type nigga. I found a way to be cool by just learning to be my fucking self. Because at the end of the day, like, I didn't know at the time when I was a kid that was like a proper way to think about yourself. So it kind of makes you insecure. And early on, kids notice that insecurity and they pick on it. So you're really not sure that like, you doing the right thing is actually doing the right thing.
You don't have that confidence yet.
Exactly. But it still radiated off of my personality because it's just who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to fit in not every crowd, but enough crowds for that energy to be noticed. Then, of course, I was singing by then. I started singing at age 7, and then coming into an era where getting light is new, crumping is new. By the time 7th, 8th grade rolled around, jerking was new. So you have all these new dances and this new social media like era. Like that was the birth of it. And it was just a wild fucking world. Girls became that whole situation. Everything with life just became 10 times more. Not like
intense.
Intense and complex at the same time. But like, you're gonna fuck with it because you're like, yo, this is a lot of shit. Like, I didn't know the world had all this to offer.
Because you was just boxed in.
Yeah.
Now you outside the box.
Yeah. But at the same, like, with that, those type of kids tend to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew better.
Right.
That is, I knew there was a certain point that I was willing to stop. Not because of like a fear, but I was smart enough.
Like, you knew enough about yourself to know your limit.
And some people can go that way. Some people want to go that way. But it's like, I know that's not for me. Because if I go that way, I'm going to fuck myself up. I ain't going to do that trying to do it for you.
Right. So, you start singing around 7, right? Mm-hmm. High school. Where you at with this? Where you at as far as like your personality in now? Like, are you now more confident in yourself? Like, where you at now? You know, now we're in the high school years. Where you at as far as you go? Where you at with your personality? Are you more sure of who you are, or are you like trying to figure it out still?
Yeah, it was coming into fruition because I started exploring other parts of myself. Mm-hmm. Like, music was my thing as a kid. Music and art was my thing from elementary to middle school. I eventually let music go because I started doing wrestling in middle school, so I took on sports. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna be an athlete. And going to the high school I went to, my older siblings already went there, so just like the reputation, the expectation going in there was like, yeah, you kind of knew what to expect or whatever. Mm-hmm. But being in high school now is a different experience because it's like after this stage, you're kind of like an adult. So it's like, what does this have to offer? And football was a huge part of my life. Mm-hmm. And in high school, I played for Dorchester.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What position?
I played a lot. I started off as a JV running back my freshman year.
Okay.
Not running back, quarterback. My sophomore year, I was playing crazy shit like defensive end and outside linebacker. Okay. And by the time my junior year rolled around, I didn't know what position I wanted to play. Mm-hmm. So I experimented with defensive back. Okay. And I went to the Seminoles tryouts or whatever. My boy brought me there. And I was practicing with these grown ass men, but I was like keeping up type shit. Right. So I was wondering what that was gonna bring.
So you was obviously athletic.
Yeah. And but that was my thing. I didn't know. Okay. So junior year rolls around, all the JV kids are now the starters. Mm-hmm. So like, we ain't really like expecting to win, but we ain't trying to lose either. Right. And you know, first game of the season, found out I was starting running back the week before our scrimmage. That I didn't expect. And it was also New Mission's first game. And technically my first game was a starter. Mm-hmm. Got player of the game that day. And then from that season on, 10-0. 6 shutouts. Was at the Super Bowl for the first time since '92. And we lost. That was a huge bite in my life. Like, we did all that work, and then it's just.
What year is this?
2012. 16 was
what is this year? Your junior year?
Yeah, 16 was the best year of my life. To this day, is the best year of my life.
Very athletic.
I was.
We need to get back to that real quick. Yeah. So, you figure out that football is your thing with the results after your initial year on JV as a freshman, correct?
Yeah, but it was, yeah, I loved football, but I didn't realize this till after. I wasn't in love with it. It was just the fact that I could do something really well and I enjoyed doing it.
All right.
Like with the team and dudes that like you're still close with to this day. Like a little brotherhood. It was a cool little experience through high school. But yeah. I wanted to pursue a career in football, but like I realized that when I tried to do it, I didn't love it enough to do it.
As a career?
Yeah, like I very well could have. I thought I had the potential and the skill to be a dope defensive back, but I didn't love it that much to commit to it.
So, take me towards the end of high school, right? Where, like, what do you get into? Is it just football, or like what's life like outside of that? What's life like outside of school? You know what I'm saying? What things are you going through personally, like because this is maturing phases.
Yeah.
So what you going through? You getting in any trouble? Things going good?
17,
working?
Like my senior year.
Yeah.
Age. Definitely the worst year of my life.
Ooh.
Definitely.
Why?
Because it was the follow-up of the greatest year. And I was expecting everything to be greater than that. I was like, all right, look, we've been here, we did this. I was kind of feeling like, I don't want to say cocky, but there was an air of arrogance. Like, yeah, I could do this shit. And I expected my senior year to be something fantastic. And it was, in my opinion, very mediocre.
Okay.
We weren't like getting smacked on, but we weren't the great team that we were last year.
What was y'all record?
5-5, 6-4, something like that. 7-3, I don't know.
So y'all was above 500.
Yeah, I know we lost 4 or 5 games. It had to been like 6-4, but yeah, it just wasn't the year we expected it to be because we had better talent actually, and twice as much potential, but the mind just wasn't there at the time because the year before we were just a couple of kids that came up from JV that wanted to play together. It wasn't really about winning, but that chemistry allowed us to win anyway. And I think personally, some people, I'm gonna put myself in a small pocket, got a little over their head, and that may have been the reason why the chemistry wasn't as strong as the year before. But we left, everybody graduated and left the city with a lot of respect, and my class started that winning tradition that they still have to this day. And my little brother took it way further. After I graduated, probably definitely.
And you graduated from Dorchester High?
I went to Tech Boston, but I played for Dorchester.
Okay.
We was all like Dorchester Educational Complex. We were split into 2 schools.
Okay.
But yeah, all my brothers played for the same team. I played 2 years after my brother. My brother continued playing 2-3 years after me. And by the time my shitty ass senior year went by, I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do with my life. My grades were shitty, and
but you just wasn't trying. Like, what was going on at that time?
Really, bro, I was going through an awakening, and I wasn't ready for it. Honestly.
And by awakening, what you mean?
Not everybody experiences that. Honestly, it's like it sounds real stupid the way I'm gonna explain it. It sounds mad simple. I was sitting down, not regular one day, and I thought of myself, and I was like, yo, I'm not plugged up to any machine. I don't have a battery connected. Like, I'm a self-operating entity. And I started touching the things around me. I'm feeling it. I'm like, yo, none of this life don't even fucking make sense. Like, why am I here? Why does everything fucking exist? And I feel like a million questions came in at once. And then
in your real head,
it was like a crack. And reality was just different. And it almost scared me a little bit. Like it's almost that moment. It's that moment in your life where you almost kind of lose your mind.
Did you read a lot?
Yeah,
So
I did.
what type of shit was you reading that affected your mind so much? Or what was it that you think affected your mind at that point?
When I got my dreads, because people started asking me if I was a Rasta, and I said no.
Mm-hmm.
But I started looking into it,
Mm-hmm.
and that introduced spirituality to my life.
Okay.
And then I started wearing the colors, and I really started studying
Liberation
this shit.
colors.
Tried adjusting my diet, like I was getting into it because I remember I grew up a Jehovah's Witness,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm getting in tune with a different part of spirituality,
A different way of
Yeah.
life.
and it was still, what's the word I'm looking for? There was righteousness to it, but it was still some form of like individuality. Like you could walk around a living spirit and be free, and not be afraid of that.
Right.
And I wasn't used to that type of energy, and it kind of fucked me up. And I was one of those kids where I did have a mental breakdown when I was 17 years old. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that exact day. Everything happened about it. And I went into this I went to like a day program in this little hospital. Because I'm thinking like, yo, there's something wrong with me. And then I get there and I'm listening to the kids around me and I'm like, these people got real problems. Like, and some of the shit that they're saying is like, I'm not gonna like trip on people that got mental health issues. I'm not saying that they don't have them, but some of their problems seem so simple. It's like, yo, you serious? And I'm over here like feeling this way because I feel like I got legitimate shit wrong with me. But then like I feel like that put me in a judgmental mindset. So I took myself. I was like, yo, I don't belong here. Like I don't even know why I'm burying myself in this drought.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like something was calling me. Like I'm starting to think in different ways. So I put my mind in everything, whether it was deeper parts of Christianity, Rastafarianism. Then I started getting back into Africa, like the real Africa.
So how before you even continue, right? How was you managing now trying to follow the Rastafarian way of life? Like, did you now just leave behind the Jehovah Witness thing? Was you still like intact with those followings? The like, you know what I'm saying? That culture, that way of life, or were you like how was this transition? Was it a transition, or was you both? Like, what was it?
It was easy for me to transition because Rastafarian still acknowledge Jesus Christ.
Right.
And that's all I was used to.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started questioning, when you get into other forms of spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
you start to see other people that don't deal with Jesus Christ. But you've been taught that was wrong. But you wonder why you've been taught that was wrong. And then when you get into studying everybody's religion, everybody's saying the same thing about themselves and everybody else. We have the right way. Our way is more righteous. Other people may be good in the world, but they don't have the connection that we have because it's through this God.
Mm-hmm.
And you must believe. And that's the key to everybody's religion, is just
Now God is the true
believe it
God.
out exactly. So essentially, all these people are believing the same thing.
From Islam to Buddhism, Confucianism, Christianity. We can even go to what's the other one? Hebrew. Like, you know what I mean? All that.
All of it. It's whenever you're dealing with divine or higher energies, there's always an origin story, and they all seem to be the same. There's always this all-knowing entity. There's always
The supreme being.
the virgin-born being that comes to save everybody, and they die, they rise into who they're supposed to be, their Christ-like consciousness, and then they watch over the world. And then all of a sudden, in another kingdom or in another nation, they're telling the same story, but it's at a different time period. So these same stories are repeating. Either this is one big story, well, this is the same story happening to multiple people around the world. So you got to ask yourself, is Jesus the one Christ? Or is Jesus Krishna, Horus, Buddhist? Are they all this same type of person?
So this is what's all conflicting you right now.
Yes.
At this point in life. This is just one topic too, one aspect. Dealing with your spirituality journey.
Yes.
Right? So you go to this place, right? The day place. You sit there, you hear the other people that's there, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I don't need to be here. I need to just continue on in my path and figure it out, or what it take me from there.
I have found music around then. I had denied it for so long. I was rapping by then. Like I picked up rapping in middle school and I dropped singing in like 7th grade. And I thought I was nice.
Okay.
No bullshit. Like a lot of people like can say that they're dope rappers, but I knew I wrote about shit that made sense. Cause it didn't have to be like everybody else's. It still rhymed. There was definitely some form of logic in it, and it had like a purpose. I think that's exactly what a rap was meant to be. That's all the structure you need to have. I think it just took for me growing a different personality to put a little swag on it.
Now it's more about image, and then the rest. But yeah,
exactly. And then I was a poet. You would call me like I love girls, bro. Like writing songs about girls, talking to them. That was like at least 70% of my motivation for my art. So I was a good poet. But then I was always taught about different black leaders, you know, the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, the Marcus Garveys. And when you're proud of your history at that age, you're writing poems about stuff like that. And some of it's still going on today. And me getting to high school, that's when this fucking epidemic of police shooting people just started going down. And like, I'm like, we living in a different, like, it's not even a different time. It's the same shit all over again. And that's when...
Now they really just highlighting it though.
Yeah. So I'm like, at that point in my life, I'm like, there's an enemy out there. Like a physical enemy. And I gotta find out what it is. But like, it was in trying to figure that out. The enemy knows me so well.
Right.
And I'm trying to get access to my information, but I don't have it because they have it. And yeah.
Damn. You was a lot of places in your head. To wrap up that last year of high school for me, which was your worst year, you say. And highlight, you know what I mean? Yeah. Explain to me how you got up out that funk.
It was in a place that I felt was mentally unhealthy. Let go of football, picked up music, which was essentially part of who I am. So I say I picked up myself again. I had to reintroduce myself to myself, and that caused a spiritual journey. And I was exiting high school into the real world.
Okay. Now,
college actually. Yeah.
Okay, so you find music, right?
Yeah.
And that's what starts to help you uplift yourself.
Yep.
Now, where were you at? Now we got to get back into your spirituality at this point also. Now music has lifted your spirits and your soul, right? But as far as your way of life, are you still following the Rastafarian way, pursuing that way of life? Are you still following Jehovah's Witness code? Evangelistic? What are you? Where are you with that?
I'm not following anything that's tangible. I follow my spirit. My spirit has a code because all these books have a code that came from spirit, and I have the same divine abilities.
That was at this point?
Yeah. Everybody has the same divine abilities as these other great people to get to get in connection with the divine.
Okay.
So when you have your own connection to the world around you, and you do things righteously, there's no need to like open a spiritual book to get guidance because it's within you if you could look for it.
So you're saying at this point you have now left even trying to be involved in a specific religion.
Yeah.
You're now not.
That was because at this point I had learned where all of them came from.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna say all of them. This is the starting point, but
so you did your history on them, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because I went into
as far as just religion on a whole, and now you delved into the specific categories.
Yeah.
And you did your research to figure out the difference and if there's differences, and found out there's more similarities than differences.
It was more so with the. What's the word I'm looking for? I want to say like the divine part of it, the spiritual part of it. I was dealing with that.
You keep saying divine. Why you keep saying divine?
Because everybody's governed by everybody in that religious realm is governed by some form of divinity that they give a name or they have a calling to.
Mm-hmm.
And it has rules, it has a way of life, and everybody deals with this differently. But I wasn't, and that's something that's like inside that you deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the book that they're dealing with right in front of you. And they're telling you that the book is the way to get to that.
All right.
And I started ignoring the book and getting into that. But I was ignoring the book because the book had something. And I got confused one day randomly reading the Bible because I'm like, okay, this Bible's in English, but the text is called Times New Roman. It's translated from Hebrew. And then you have things like the Septuagint, the Greek Bible, that are like earlier findings. Mm-hmm. But then when you start to look at language, English language is very bastardized. It's a bastardized Latin language. And then when you start to learn the roots of different words, it kind of changes the conversation in those religious texts. So are we going in loopholes because we're trying to put vowels in place and make certain words, and now the whole fucking passage has a totally different meaning than what was intended?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started learning that language is fucking important. And all these scholars that were doing these writings or this research all went to what is known to the world as Egypt, what is originally called Kemet. It was a scholar's ground, a university, to where you could learn about science, mm-hmm. math, literature, music, architecture, brick masonry. Being an electrician, that was a thing. Like, people don't even fucking know. We're not living in a world that's fucking new because these ideas came from something and somebody else. They're just coming out slowly. Like, I'm pretty sure if we go back into this world as far as we go, all these things have been here. And it's not like we're not familiar. We have the ability to deal with anything as if we've been here before, as if we've made it before. It's just that divine connection that we're ignoring. We think it's a gift, but it's like it's something that we already had.
So see how you're speaking like this now, right? You're 23. At 19, this is where you are at with this understanding?
Not really. No.
Where are you at when you because this is 19 is around when you go back to music, right?
At 19, my concern was would it mean to be black in all of this.
Okay, so you was on your knowledge of self journey.
And then I got into Dr. Khalid Muhammad.
Right.
Oh,
that's a good man right there. Rest in peace.
Watching Sign of the Studios, mm-hmm. Captain Cesario. I watched all these conscious brothers have mm-hmm. different conversations, different opinions, different debates. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching them debate their ideas, and they're so strong about it. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to debate my idea. Mm-hmm. I want to elevate it. Because I don't want to feel like, because I feel like debating is a form of friction, and that's a part of why we can't have a conversation.
But it has.
And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing for them to debate. Debate is really like an intense intellectual conversation to share ideas. Mm-hmm. And it's made to have the other person think about their idea, think about their idea differently. But I wanted to I wanted to understand something that had something to do with all their ideas combined that was absolutely undebatable. And I'm not going to say I found it, but I made that my pursuit, and it became beyond reading books, texts, and passages. It was more, who are you? Like, where do you fit in all of this? And every person got to ask themselves that question.
All right, that's dope. You obviously done tapped into you done tried to tap into that other side of the brain that we don't use. You heard? Respect, scholar. Then I appreciate brothers that do their research, man. They'll be trying to talk to, you know what I'm saying, especially a lot of younger dudes that be around. Always try to tell them to, do the research. I always having arguments about shit that really don't matter. Like, do the research on shit that do matter so that this type of shit don't occur. Right. Arguing over petty shit. That shit wouldn't happen if you was more informed. This shit wouldn't matter. You would not be wasting your time. Right? So it's dope that you were on that path to figure it out at an earlier age in life than later on, you know what I mean? Shout out to you on that, scholar. Genuine scholar talk. Now, before we get into the music, right? I want to say, right before you get into the music, what space were you in? Because were you taking? This is when you began to take music seriously.
Yeah, this is after football season, like January, February of that my graduating year.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what space were you in right before you decided to just? You got the were you were you in a motivated, inspired space? Because is that why you was like, you know what? I need to get back on being me, and music is what I need to do. Like, were you at that phase? Was that the space you were in?
I was in a searching space.
Okay.
I was looking for something that would accommodate from what I thought was missing from my life.
Okay.
And music was just it, because it's really all I know. All I know is music. Like,
family deep rooted in music.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, you said mom and dad were born here?
Mm-hmm.
Both Roxbury.
My dad, no. I'm not sure what my thoughts on that. He was definitely born in the inner city, though.
Because there's definitely, Roxbury got the history with the music.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely have some family roots in this city as far as the music scene goes. Definitely. My grandmother's brother was two of them was in a group called the Ambitions, and there was this place called the Sugar Shack down the Berkeley area.
Mm-hmm.
They performed that, and there was a little Boston hit. My uncle Larry was cool with his best friends with Maurice Stark, New Edition.
Okay.
So yeah, he was in there when Boston's music scene was on the rise, and it was at whatever top pinnacle it was at the time.
Right.
He was a part of that, and my mother's brother was in a group called Classic Example, Quintet. Dope music that a lot of people do and don't know.
R&B?
Yeah. And they actually had...
What was the group called?
Classic Example.
Classic Example.
Yeah. And they had a song called It's Alright that featured on the track to South Central at the end. So if you ever watch the movie, you hear that
South
track
Central at the end?
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. Good history.
But it was always...
it was in you then?
Yeah, my family was always right there.
So why you neglected for so long? What happened? Why you neglected?
I thought I couldn't sing, so I let it go.
So, but you was rapping, right?
Yeah.
Why you let go of rapping?
Because of the image of rappers at the time, and I didn't fit it, and because of that type of influence, it wasn't gonna budge. Now it's cool to be like conscious, but at the time, like, well, not even conscious. Like, now it's cool to just be yourself.
Okay.
But at the time, there was an image.
Right.
I wasn't about to like certain people that could rap. Like, I grew up on the same streets as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I participated in a lot of the same shit as everybody else. I feel like I had to.
Right.
But certain niggas feel like they gotta make that a part of their life, like they did it, and they put it in their rap to make everybody else excited. Because there's people in the room that can hear you, that like what they're hearing, and they can relate to what you're saying. But it ain't true to who you are.
Right.
And then when it comes into fruition, niggas is like,
Looking a little shaky, baby.
Yeah,
Looking a little shaky, baby.
And I'm not gonna pretend, but the stories I can tell you are credible enough to be like, he has been there to see. If he hasn't been involved in it, if it hasn't happened to him, he's seen it. And it's like there's different stories of different types of niggas in the hood. And you don't gotta be the same type of nigga that everybody else is in the room. I can't stress that enough, and I wish kids would know that. You don't gotta be like everybody else.
Say that shit one more time.
You don't gotta be like
Be yourself. It is okay to be yourself. For real. It is okay to be yourself. You heard? Can't say that enough times. Be yourself and you be alright. You know what I mean? So, that's dope. Yo, listen, shout out to you figuring out that it's okay to be you, man. You feel me? Like, cause that's something that everybody not a lot of people decided to go on that journey at a age where it's necessary. We always say fuck it and want to be cool and follow the crowd. Like, not everybody is a leader, as I should say. You see what I'm saying?
Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it take you following the crowd to realize that that's not
for
what
you.
you are. Yeah. Right. And like I definitely had the flaw.
Experience is the best teacher.
Yeah, of experiencing like different things, and like some of those things had an influence on some of the things I do now, but I didn't let it like overtake me and become like a habit as it did for certain people. Like, I don't know, like simple shit. Like, I grew up in a house where I would never imagine at age 5 that I'd be smoking at all. Like, that was fucking unheard of.
Right.
You was not about to pick up shit. But then, like, when you grow up, you realize people around you smoke, and like they're trying to like teach you and show you different. But then you have people on the outside who are influenced by other things, and you don't have that same influence. And then you start intertwining with different circles. You're meeting different people, and you start having different experiences over this one small thing. And then now you're in a totally different space, and you'd be surprised how like one thing that everybody does puts you in so many circles. And it's not just shit like smoking. It puts you everywhere.
I understood. Well, early life was like a magnifying glass, let's call it.
Yeah.
Magnifying glass. I like that.
Yeah.
It was the search to you.
Mm. A little chrysalis.
So now that we done came to the final phase of getting towards really understanding yourself and music, now comes into play, right? Let's talk about the music. How serious are you when you first start with it?
When I first dived in, I've been in it at the same speed ever since. Yep. The music business, because you can just do music, but when you want a career, now it's music business. I've been consistent for 5 years.
You 23 now?
Yeah.
So since 18?
Yeah, 17 going on 18.
Okay, so now take me through, let's say, the first couple years of your music, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you putting out? Are you putting out audio? Are you putting out audio and visual, or is it just mainly audio at first?
I was in a group.
Oh, okay.
A quintet. It's 5 of us.
What was the name of the group?
Smooth Impact.
Smooth Impact. All right. Okay.
We was the type of dudes where we got up just to get up. There was no plan. We always meet around the Copley area or downtown.
Okay.
And whether somebody might be shopping one day because they got a job interview, we might go with them, whatever. We're just always together doing whatever. But we're always singing together. So
Right.
It's harmony in every fucking store, every fucking restaurant, walking down the street. Cameras, eyes, people. Girl, it was crazy. And we were all cool dudes. Like, it wasn't like one of those type of groups where you got like one of those strong personality type dudes and one dude who's mad quiet and don't speak at all, or a fucking head case. Like, we all, like, when somebody asks a question, we would subconsciously answer it at the same time, say it the same way. I would like to think that we had a leader. I would say it's like Sakura, because he would like speak mostly. But when I came in, the group was already a thing before I came in.
Mm-hmm.
And I came in when they were replacing members. And I was the last installment to a new group. And yeah, that's what I remember from that point on. That's when I started having like rehearsals.
Okay.
As an artist, and I'm like yeah, I want to do this.
Okay. Shit. And that's the first couple years.
Yeah, that went on for 3 years.
Okay.
3 years. Yeah.
So the group, right?
Mm.
When you came on the scene, what was your vibe like? Did you add a different dimension to their group, or were you just like, was your personality and your character just fit for that final spot? What was that like?
I had a heavy evolution in that group. I was a very premature artist. I mean, we all were, but like, they were already having rehearsals and having like vocal lessons or whatever as a group. I wasn't having that.
Okay.
I just had a natural raw talent, but
Right.
you could tell it wasn't nurse. And
To hold him up.
yeah, I didn't like walk in dressing like a singer or acting like a singer.
Mm-hmm.
I was an athlete, so I dressed like an athlete.
Right.
Always had like hoodies and sweatpants on and shit. And I was a little bit bigger than I was now.
Mm-hmm.
So like they like,
You're a football player.
yeah. And I wasn't like a happy-go-lucky kid either. Like, I've been told I have like, when I'm sitting by myself, I have this mug that looks unapproachable. I'm like obviously I'm not like harmful or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the image I gave off. So they called me the muscle. I'm like, that's fucking retarded. Like, that's what my manager called me, Keem the muscle. And then when I started getting into like singing or whatever, I used to sing the bottom harmony because I didn't really know harmony or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't gonna sing the melody, so I stuck right there. And then we had just a certain sound. So whenever we sang any song, everybody knew which part of the harmony they was on, and it was always perfect. And that was the best part about being in that group. Is stuff came so natural. Like, we could make up a song on the spot, or do a random chord on the spot. And everybody...
We're going to need some notes before we get up out of here, too.
Yeah, we've been smoking. We can't get shit out of
Oh, yeah, exactly. Raw and uncut. You heard? Raw and uncut.
And dry.
Word. We'll get you some water, say. But yeah, keep going, though. Keep going.
Yeah, everybody, there was no lead singer. Everybody had a lead in the song.
Okay.
And that dynamic kind of pushed everybody, honestly, because at some point you would have to step up in front of everybody else, and then you would have to lead. You know, the branch of the next man has to do the same thing, but when it came your time, you got to do your thing.
Yeah.
And I was back then when I sang, I used to shake because I didn't have control of my muscles. Like I didn't know how to relax, and I had like a natural like social anxiety, and like I wasn't used to singing in front of people.
So now you're in front of people. Now you're nervous.
Yeah, even in rehearsal, like forget a show, it'd be in front of like the group themselves and my man. I was nervous because when I sang as a kid, it was always in my grandmother's kitchen by myself, and then when people came in, I wouldn't sing no more. I probably performed for my family. I probably sang for my family once as a kid, and I never did it. But getting over that and just being comfortable with my voice and being taught how to sing properly and going to school for it at the same time, it was a dope process. And then my voice was transitioning, obviously, from being a little high school kid to a young adult, and I had to start experimenting with different parts of my voice, and that went on throughout the group. And I remember we recorded our first song together. It was Love Coming Down. It was a song my manager wrote when he was like 16, like real old school shit. And then my mother heard it. She couldn't believe it was me. I thought it was like mad mediocre or whatever. I didn't think I was that good, but that was just my confidence level in my talent at the time. And then we did Work of Art, which is our first like song made for that group right then and there. And I sang the first verse, and I don't know, something happened that day in that session.
Something took over you.
Yeah. Something told me at that moment, I think I can sing a little bit. And writing verses for songs after that became nothing. And I don't know, I became a different type of artist. But it was all through like just being nurtured around these dudes who love music just as much as I do. And I'm very grateful for those dudes, bro. Huge part of my life, though. Definitely huge. We got to go a lot of places, see a lot of things, meet a lot of people, and it wasn't the usual things that artists get to do. Like, certain people can go to a Chris Brown concert, or meet The Weeknd, or meet Jay-Z, whatever. I never had the chance to meet Michael Jackson, right? And Michael Jackson my favorite artist, by the way. But yeah.
No debate.
Yeah.
All right.
But
rest in peace, Mike, man.
Definitely. If I had a chance to meet any Jackson, I'd be grateful. And I did meet him. I met Austin Brown, who Rebbie Jackson is Michael's older sister. That's her son. I met him twice, and it's just experiences like that. Like it's almost like it's like a touch of royalty almost. This person, this family that you looked up to as a kid, that did so much for the world. Like you got to be right there in front of a piece of that. And I met Valerie Simpson, whose name may not be familiar to a lot of people in the generation. Valerie Simpson wrote Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Everybody knows that song.
Right.
I mean, it don't mean much to a lot of people out there, but to somebody like me who love music and who realize what type of gold is in certain types of music, I wouldn't trade that for the world. I performed at the Apollo Theater twice on the same stage as most of my heroes.
You performed on the Apollo stage?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Respect for that.
I appreciate my journey as an artist.
When did you do that? Was that when you became solo?
No.
Oh, you still part of the group?
The group, yeah. We did October and November 2014. Yeah.
2014.
Yeah. And then...
That was the first time?
Yeah.
Twice. Or did it happen, did it happen in the same year?
Yeah, twice in that year. But,
that's dope.
I think
what was that a competition or something?
It was amateur night at the Apollo. Yeah.
You was one of the contestants?
Yeah. Yeah. Looking a hot mess on the camera.
Yo. You about to make me go back and look. Listen, I'm about to look on 2014 YouTube right now. Amateur Night at the Apollo, man.
It might be on their website. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but yeah, we did that. I think my biggest moment with that group definitely is opening up for Silk, and that became like, I don't want to say like the pinnacle to like our expectations for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely different because you're looking at a group of dudes who sang songs that people were born off of, type shit. And these legends that you're listening to growing up and learning and singing their songs, you're never going to think a day in life you'll meet them. But like, just opening up for them, meeting them, talking to them backstage, and just realizing how down to earth these stars are, it kind of makes you feel like you have star potential, because once you realize that they're just human beings, that they're just like, they're committed to being that idea, it kind of makes you want to be the same thing.
Right.
So when I realized that I got to shake hands with people that I idolized in my ears for so long, life became bigger.
Damn. So you performed twice in the same year at the Apollo, right? And this is why you still with the group.
Yep.
Take me to when you start to transition into your solo movement.
Like,
because this gotta be sometime soon after the performances at the Apollo. You did Amateur Night at the Apollo.
Yeah, it was 2014.
You made sure you rubbed the tree, right?
Oh yeah, you have to.
I was about to say, bro, I hope you didn't violate. Like,
No,
did you ever see when the dude that forgot to rub the tree before he went out there? Well, I used to watch that shit back in the day too. Like when I was young, I used to love watching Showtime at the Apollo. That was my shit back in the day.
Yeah.
But take me to when you start to transition into your solo movement.
2017. It was a weird year for myself and the group itself. In respect to everybody else's confidentiality in that situation, I'll just say that chemistry and agreement became in question. So things didn't work out. And me personally, what was going on in my life, I couldn't commit to the group because I felt like I was hurting myself trying to do that. Because I feel like there was something I was trying to fix in my life. And committing to something bigger than myself was hard to do. And it was almost like, not tearing me apart, but it would have had I not like let it go. And I let go of music again. I dropped everything, struggled for a little bit, and then I picked my solo career back up a few months later, and I've been at it since.
So, was it like a no hard feeling type of thing once you decided to just,
I didn't even have to say that, because that's how close we were. There was no, like, giving their opinion, like, or no disagreement. There was no tugging pull. It was like, nah, because I was the youngest, too. And I was like, nah, because, they've been at it longer than me. They understand trying to pursue a career and have a personal life. Being an artist is essentially being two people. And because they've been in the group and pursuing a music career longer than I have, I think they understood exactly what I was going through. And, it wasn't, everybody went about their music careers. We still talk to each other, so we're still connected. I still make music when we're running, whatever. We never lost that brotherly connection. We just don't do music together anymore.
Okay, that's dope. So how did you feel about, like, where was your confidence at as far as, like, were you nervous about doing your own thing now?
No, because I knew it's what I had to do, and that was the first time in my life I was ever sure about something. I have a plan for this whole thing about to partake in my life. And I know I planned it at the time when I decided it. And everything is coming into fruition as it should. I'm not like I don't want to say I'm pursuing fame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to perfect my craft. So the influence of it is undeniable.
Yeah.
When you make good music for people, it's not going to be a question of whether it's going to get around.
Right.
I just want to make that type of music, but it takes a lot of commitment. Because sometimes you can't relate to everybody. But like, if when you learn people, you can then have the ability to meet them where they're at.
Okay.
And then you can write songs about certain things that kind of maybe introduce yourself to them musically.
Mm-hmm.
And then by almost like with that connection and the songs that you make, and then you start making different types of music that speak to who you really are. Now that you have their attention, they're seeing how you're growing, and they themselves can grow. And that's just the type of influence I want to have on people.
That's cool, man. Yo, I appreciate the conversation, man. This is a dope discussion right here. Conversation, dialogue. You feel me? I appreciate that. Especially sharing things about yourself and your life that you may not have necessarily done thus far as in your career.
Right.
You know what I mean? I appreciate you allowing me to have the opportunity to, you know what I'm saying, achieve this right here. This is a dope opportunity for myself, and I appreciate you coming out to support me, man. Definitely. So, with that said, right, I want to, this is what I want to know, right? I want to know, this situation irks me, like, right now, at this point. Amber Geiger. She walks into an apartment that is not hers. She murders this man on his couch eating ice cream in his apartment. She gets 10 years sentenced, right? Hold on. Let me just finish the story. Now it's the other details are in. The witness who called, right, and testified, he gets murdered. He is now dead. Please tell me how you feel about this whole situation, man.
Over some weed, they say.
Please tell me Please tell me how you feel about this situation.
I'm not surprised at all, given the country we live in. We're trying to get a system to work for us that was never made for us in the first place. And we're missing a sense of sovereignty when it comes to issues, and that's just the aspect of self-governing. We're asking for permission to protect our own people. We're asking for permission for reparations. And when we know our history, and when we understand that certain things have been taken from us by these same people we call our neighbors or our brothers or whatever in this country. When that exchange happened, not even exchange, when that robbery happened, nobody asked any questions. Nobody did a petition and raised their hands and said, who wants to go do this, or who wants to go take this, or who wants to go there and settle here. They just did it. And I'm not saying our intention has to be the same as these counterparts or the people that facilitated the building of this country. But that same action has to be taken with the intent of freeing ourselves. Which means we don't gotta harm people doing it. But when are we gonna like what really is the limit of defending your life when it comes to situations like that?
How you feel about it?
Speak
on it. I was like, I want to know. Because I want to know exactly how you feel about this very situation. Like, forget about all the other things, right? Speak on this situation. The brother gave this woman who murdered her brother for absolutely no reason and saying that she was mistaken, that it was her apartment, because his door just so happened to be unlocked.
Yeah.
Speak on this situation, man. I need to hear it. You 23, and I'm 33, so I need to hear it from you.
I don't agree with what he did.
The brother.
I'm not gonna say for controversial reasons, I'm not gonna say I'm against it. What I do understand is his thinking process behind doing it.
Mm-hmm.
The aspect of forgiveness, being a good Christian man, because that essentially is what being a good Christian man is all about. But my question for myself, forgive him, is if being a Christian man means that I gotta forgive somebody who killed my brother on purpose, I don't want to be that. That should speak volumes to a lot of people. Like, do you really gotta forgive certain people? Do you?
Okay. Because I don't think so.
And you
I struggle with that.
And to be honest,
heavily, I struggle with
hate
that shit.
talking about the black and white conversation because it makes them uncomfortable. But like, this is gonna be a black and white thing, because this is another situation where a white person takes the life of a black person and they're just getting off, and we're in fucking prison on life sentences for selling a couple of grams. That's fucking crazy.
And she just got 10
fucking
years.
Crazy.
10 years.
And
dudes do that for having a finger of dope on them. Crazy. She just took this dude's life in his own apartment because she thought it was hers. Because she was in disarray while she was texting or on the phone with her boyfriend in an argument. Yo, not me, man. Not me. My little brother could. I think my little brother, if he asked to give her a hug, in his head, I know exactly what he would do. Like, he would just get close. That would be his thing, to get close enough to her, to hit her as hard as he possibly could, and do as much damage as he possibly could before they pulled him off her and he had to take a charge for it. But just as long as he could get, if that was me,
what's so crazy?
There's no way my little brother's giving this chick no
somebody
hug.
Feels,
Absolutely
as
not.
much as they feel,
absolutely
like they deserve that, there's a danger behind it, because that's the nigga they want you to be.
Listen,
and it fucking hurts because you feel like you justified to do a lot of shit. Taking what you take it as a black person, but like that same shit, that same reaction, they always found an intelligent way to use it against you.
It's great. Listen, let's put it this way, right? And this is why I say genuine scholar talk, right? I try to use the word scholar instead of the word nigga. Why? Because nigga is a negative that we try to turn into a positive connotation behind it, right? But in essence, it's not, because that's not the stigma or the stereotypical way they use it towards us. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So I want to use a word that's already a positive and continue to grow in that positive aura. You see what I'm saying? So that's why, shout out to Genuine Scholar Talk, man. You know, all my scholars out there, I try to stop using the word nigga in conversation. I really do on a daily and throughout, you know, the progression of the podcast. I hope y'all see my growth in using the scholar term versus nigga. You know what I mean? With my scholars and brethren amongst me. You dig me? But for real, man, like I really had to try and get to see where your perspective was at your age, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a decade between us, right? So, because I just can't fathom somebody doing that to my brother. And and me personally asking the judge, can I give them a hug, and honestly want to give them a hug in forgiveness. No, I just can't see it. Could you see it for yourself? Did you see yourself doing that?
That wouldn't be worth showing up to court for me. Because if I know that happened to my brother, one, that whole trial I would have saw that coming. Somebody's getting off, killing a little black boy, and you just so happen to be a white cop.
And he was a grown man for the record.
Yeah, but like, no. Me personally, if you're gonna take the life of somebody that I would give my life for, why wouldn't I want to take yours? Why don't I think you deserve to die? And you made a stupid ass mistake because you're fucking irresponsible? Or you was drunk, maybe. You don't want to say. You might have been high. Who fucking knows? Nobody knows why you just randomly walked into somebody else's apartment. How the fuck did you even get into somebody else's shit?
The door was open.
So what, like...
The door was not open, but it was unlocked. It just so happened, homie, where they live at, he's comfortable enough to have his door unlocked. So it was unlocked. One,
I know this for a fact. When you walk into a different house...
You're gonna know, bro,
it feel different. It smell different. It look different. Your house, somebody's house may smell like pumpkin spice, and that's what you used to because you got pumpkin spice at your crib. If you walk in and you smell incense, that's not your crib.
Okay.
You should have known the second you walk through the door, something right here. We all cook differently. You can smell our seasonings in the air in the house. So you can walk in and just imagine, like, yo, this ain't my crib. You had to have been either drunk as shit or high as fuck off some shit, because we don't do that to you. Not in my experience now.
Listen.
Or you just making a fucking excuse.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Because either way, like...
That was either intentional or she was under the influence of something.
Right. But we can't make... we can't make speculation about people. But we get all the speculations. And we get charged for speculations. And they be fucking bullshit. That's crazy. But I can't be surprised because I'm trying to play fairly with the game that's not meant to be played fair. And that's a hard thing to accept as a black person. Mm-hmm. You're not playing your own game. Best thing you can do for yourself is learn it and play it better than the people that made it. Mm-hmm. But essentially, when you learn where they made it from, everything leads back to you. Everything leads back to you. How to structure a society, how to influence, how to get to people, how to interconnect. The sciences of things came from a particular group of people that were here first. Mm-hmm. Because they had to give birth to those ideas in order for them to continue on to today in the first place. It's like almost like using you against you. And how you at that point you gotta think, how ignorant must I be as a person that somebody's using me when it's literally as simple as somebody playing a game on your back, and all you gotta do is stand up and be like, yo, I ain't no board, bro. But that's hard for a lot of people.
Nah, this all comes back down to being informed and having access to information. And at this point in the day and age where we're at, access to information is at the palm of everyone's hand. Because everyone...
Ignorance is a choice.
Even homeless people have phones, man. So when someone says they can't find a job or they don't have access to... No. You have a cellular device that you use the internet for, Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook all the time. So you definitely can get to it. It's right here. You don't need an actual computer. You have a computer in the palm of your hand that you can actually use as a cellular device.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, this day and age, it's all about choosing whether or not you want to be informed or not.
Right.
Because the information is accessible now. So now it's all really about choosing whether you want to be informed or not.
And I think the crazy part about that is that seems to help our cause. And you would think like this technology that was made in some sorts to add to our demise is actually helping us. Mm-hmm. Because the poison that they're meant to spread throughout this technology and mass media is actually what we're using to speak to our people and to interconnect. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't know who some of the scholars are that I know today.
Right.
Like, who would Dr. Umar Johnson be? Mm-hmm. Who would Tariq Nasheed be? All these brothers out here that are pioneering for a similar cause are all using social platforms to get their message across. And you gotta wonder, like, you gotta win in this situation because it's almost like they're setting you up to win and they think they beat you. But the last part of winning the game is just knowing that you can fucking win it.
Right.
Like the energy, the source to the game, the product of the game, the thing that makes the game is you. Like, and essentially you fucking, everybody is playing themselves.
Yeah, about to
Everybody's
say.
playing themselves in some sort of way.
Until everybody figures out that they just gotta figure out how to stay in their own lane and play their own game and not play, play within the boundaries of, be aware and informed of how it's set up for us not to succeed and play within the boundaries, you know what I'm saying? But make sure you do your own thing, you know what I mean? So, we're gonna wrap up right now. I want you to shout out all your social media right now.
Keem Leamour on everything. Leamour is Leamour. Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever you can look. Whatever search engine that you have, where you can search something, it's Keem Leamour. And yeah, I don't have much that I want to say, but I just got a journey.
Yo, can we get like a quick 3, 4 bars real quick, man? Outro, man. 15 seconds, man. Quick. Something real light, you know what I mean? Something real light.
This is why I be getting stuck, because I don't be ready for shit like this.
Just hit me with something, man.
Let me see. Something quick.
Because that's how we going out tonight. It could be one of your favorite artists or something, man.
See, this is the point where...
Matter of fact, hit me with Music Soul Child real quick. I know you know some music.
That's funny you say that.
Do it. I need it. Quick few notes. Let's hear the tunes, man.
Girl, I'm so surprised to see the young fine woman that you grew up to be. Your body's banging like a 400 SC, even your attitude flows pleasantly. I remember when you was just tying your haul, a girl that likes to play basketball.
Hey.
As far as I was concerned, you was one of my boys. I never cared about my sex or yours, but if I would knew the girl next door, I would have been you.
Hey.
I would have been nice to you, a little more kind to you. I would have looked twice at you.
Oh yeah, they gotta go get the two. They gotta go get the two. They gotta go talk. Hey, listen, go holler at my man on all his social media, man. We out, man. Say you and Scholar talk, man. You heard?